Mark, another hockey season is upon us. Your team's level of excitement here as you get ready to start the season?
You know what? We've got a lot of excited guys. You know, I think it's probably like the third phase for us. The first one was probably salvation, just trying to salvage it. You know, we really, I thought we had a good run there a couple years ago. We're young again, you know, and I should say inexperienced, not young. None of our players are really young, but you know, we've got 4 seniors, and they're all going to contribute and be a big part of what we're doing. The bulk of our guys are probably between sophomore and freshman, and you know, I like how they've come in. They've all come in good shape. We were able to bring the freshmen in this summer for the first time and get a jump start on that. You know, so, and there's some openings now. There's some opportunities for guys to get a little bit more than maybe they've gotten in the past. Carl Stollery, who probably played more than anyone who wasn't a goalie in the last 4 years, he left a lot of minutes behind. So, you know, how many of those are going to be picked up by Jordan Hayward or Brendan Ellis or Dan Colomatis? You know, you got Joe Canada, who played the bulk of two years worth of net. You know, how much of that is Sam Murata going to take? How much of that is Rasmus Tiernan going to take? So they're excited, you know what I mean? And it's not that they weren't excited in the past, but things were a little more set in stone. So there's opportunities for some of our guys, and I know they came back in great shape, and they're looking forward to it.
Talk about the leadership of this team. It's so important, I think, for any team to be defined by their senior leadership or just their leadership in general. It doesn't have to necessarily be seniors. So talk about the guys you're expecting to take on that role.
Well, you know what? Leadership it's a contact sport, as a friend of mine likes to say. You know, you not only have to live it, but then you've got to hold other people accountable to those standards. And you know, I think we've got some pretty good leadership in Jordan Hayward, who's going to be our junior captain. Brendan Ellis, who's going to be a junior assistant captain, and Kyle Bighouse, who's a senior. I mean, Biggs, he demands respect right off the get-go. Just he's got that physical presence, you know, and really gives it up for his teammates, and has always been a good team guy. Brendan Ellis is just someone who's, you know, turned himself into a player, worked as hard as he can. I think gets along with everybody in our locker room, and that goes a long way. And Jordan Hayward is probably one of the hardest working guys I know. You know, he's overcome a lot physically to be where he is. You know, taking a civil engineering discipline, combining that with keeping in tip-top shape, and he is definitely not afraid to hold his teammates accountable. At least he hasn't to this point. So, you know, we're excited about the leadership, but guess what? It begins and ends with myself and my staff, and we're really excited about this season. So, it's right. I mean, we're 10 days away from playing a game, which is kind of scary, but also exhilarating.
And obviously, you already mentioned Joe Canada leaving. You expecting a bit of a rotation at the start of the year and see how things go, or going to give one guy a shot?
You know, hey, listen, Sam Murata has played, and Ras hasn't, and each time Sam has played, he's played well. You know, so again, I'm not as dumb as I look. You know, Sam is going to have an opportunity to fight for that #1 spot. With that said, you know, I think until someone takes it, you know, we're going to play whoever we think gives us the best opportunity that night. Both of those guys can stop pucks. I'm really confident in that. Now it's just a matter of whether we piece this together and it is an alternating situation, or if one guy emerges. Either way, I'm confident that we'll have someone to do the job. You know, I think competition, especially in the goalie position, as long as they can handle it psychologically, is a good thing.
Coach, another hockey season upon us here. Give us your thoughts on the team as you enter the season.
Well, we're excited, obviously. It's a good group coming back from last year. Obviously, we were disappointed with that season last year, so we've been waiting a long time to get back at it, and everybody's excited.
Every year, a team seems to be defined by its captains. Talk about this year's leadership.
Well, Connor Hado, I think, typifies the type of player that we like. He's a terrific kid. He's big, strong defenseman, and leads by example. Doesn't say a whole lot, but leads by his actions. And
how about your goaltending situation? Jeff Wire gets hurt last year, but coming into this year, also got Casey DeSmith. Going to start with a rotation of the goaltenders?
Well, I think we'll just take it 1 weekend at a time. But there's no question that Jeff got hurt just around Christmas time last year. Played well the few games that he played early in the season, and after getting hurt. Obviously, we went with Casey DeSmith, and he had a pretty good second half. So going into the season, there's good competition between the two of them, and we'll see how it goes early on.
How about another player you expect big things from this year, maybe making a big jump up from a freshman to a sophomore year or a sophomore to a junior year, someone you're expecting to make a big step forward?
Well, I think it's always the guys that are coming back, and we got a good freshman class coming in, but I think our freshman and sophomore classes both have proved that we're going to get some scoring back that we were missing a little bit last season. Dalton Spearman coming back is a big plus for us. We lost him really for most of the season. He got a medical red shirt, so he's now back in the junior class as opposed to being a senior. So I expect him to step up there. But it's always with the leadership, and we got guys like John Henry on, Austin Block, the senior forwards and defensemen with Connor and Greg Burke. So they're the ones that you look to, and I think they're excited about the season.
And how about Hockey East? Here we go again, another Hockey East battle. Your expectations of the league?
Yeah, nothing. It just gets more difficult every year, obviously, with the changes that went on. With Lowell last year had a great season, Providence, and next year we got another team coming in, as you know. So it's getting harder and harder. And the depth in Hockey East is terrific, and that's usually why we probably have one of the best leagues in the country.
Coach, another Hockey East season here for you. Talk first about your team leadership. Every year a team is defined by its captains and its leaders. Talk about this year's leaders.
Yeah, really pleased with the three captains that we selected this year. Vince Saponari is our captain, and our two assistants are Robbie Vrolik and Ludwig Carlson, and they give us a lot of experience. Vin with much experience from playing college hockey at the Division I level. He's tasted success, and prior to coming to Northeastern with Beanpot wins and NCAA Final Four appearance and a win. So, and he's on a mission this year. It's his last year. Wants to go make sure this is the right year for him. But more importantly for the team, and he's seen, he's experienced what a team needs to do to get through the good times and the bad times, and then to ultimately win a championship. And the other two gentlemen have hardworking players, skilled players in Robbie and Ludwig Carlson, and both have different backgrounds, but a background about leadership. So they've been really good, and the leadership for us began in the end of the spring semester and off-ice season, and they really led the way, and they showed their leadership and helped set the tone for our team that's continued as we've come back since September. So really happy with where we are at that point.
So it sounds like the level of excitement is very high from top to bottom on the team.
Yeah, I think if you went to any college campus right now, you would sense that everyone's excited about the beginning of the year. But certainly it is on Huntington Avenue. Our kids have come back, understanding that we didn't make the playoffs last year, that we tied for the last playoff spot, and could look to a number of opportunities, missed opportunities, not making the playoffs. And that's not something we're ever going to revisit again at Northeastern. So it's now that focus and that the detailedness and the preparation, everyone's raised that level. So no, there is a level of excitement, and I think guys look at the roster and feel that, hey, we've got a very good hockey club in that locker room.
Well, how about that roster? How about maybe a player or two who is going to make that big step up from freshman to sophomore year or sophomore to junior year that you're expecting big things from this year? Yeah,
and you know what? I'll go right back to our senior class and our leadership. And Vinny Saponari, Robbie Vrolik, and Ludwig Carlson are all three good players, offensive players who can contribute a lot offensively. So I look for them to even build on their year last year. And Chris Rawlings is a goaltender who has shown a lot of success. He's played 3 full years at the Division I level, and he comes back for his senior year, who I know is ready to have a great year and let this launch himself into his next opportunity at the pro level. So I look forward to those guys. But I mean, we've got leadership through our first 6 forwards, through our defense, and I like our team makeup. So they'll be the 3 captains will lead, but there's a lot of leadership that permeates all the way down from the senior class right through the sophomore class.
Jim. Nate, another season upon us here, another battle in Hockey East. Yeah. First, give us your thoughts on what your expectations are across the league this year.
Well, I think it's going to be really tight. I mean, I think last year it seemed like we were all kind of chasing the top teams. I think this year I see it more of being a really battle every night, every team in the league. I think there's a lot of teams that didn't graduate a lot, like Northeastern and UMass, that are going to improve, and so I think every game, every point this year, all 27 games are going to be really tough.
I see your team as having a great balance from top to bottom, from the senior leadership to the younger guys. First, talk about that leadership.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be critical for us to have good leadership because we have so many young players, and we have Kyle Murphy and Tim Schaller and Miles Harvey, all I think A+ individuals. They have great work ethic. They're complete people, and I'm really happy about that. And they have a big job this year. They have big roles on the team in really helping out our younger guys, and really showing them how hard you have to compete night in, night out in this league and at this level.
And you mentioned Kyle Murphy. He's a guy maybe not a lot of Hockey East fans will recognize the name of. Tell us his story.
His story is he's a terrific kid, first and foremost. He's nearly a 4.0 student. When our staff first took the job at Providence, he was he was basically had left Notre Dame, played there 2 years, left there, played a year in Vernon, was one of the captains of the team that played in the Canadian Championship there. For Junior A, and he was looking for a home, and there were 4 or 5 schools that really wanted him, including ourselves, because what a character guy. I mean, you come in as a new coach, what type of people do you want to start, building a program? You want some great character people, and I had known the family a little bit from recruiting Ryan Murphy back in the day when I was at Harvard, and jumped at the opportunity to try to get Kyle on board, but unfortunately, even though he did 48 credits when he was at a community college playing in Vernon, and he got straight A's, there wasn't even an A- in there. The NCAA, deemed him ineligible, so he had to sit the year, which is tragic because here's a kid that's, a top-level student, and this is what the NCAA is about, people like him. But he got some bad circumstances there. But the quality of individual Kyle is, he just took it head on, battled the adversity. Was probably our best player last year in all of our practices as far as showing up every day and competing when he could have easily felt sorry for himself. He just seemed like the natural guy that to take our program, and lead our program to the next step that we want to get to. So. Even though he only has 1 year of eligibility, I'm really happy that he's with us and he's with our program, and couldn't be more proud of the type of kid he is as an individual.
Kevin, another hockey season is upon us. Your thoughts as the team enters another season, and what you expect out of another battle in Hockey East this year?
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it as a program. We looked in the rearview mirror, kind of had a tough year last year, and I'm really proud of our team. We spent a lot of time in the off season, the 7 weeks before summer break, and dissecting what went wrong, and then fixing a lot of issues, and really give a lot of credit to our leaders. H.T. Lenz, Connor Brickley, Chris McCarthy, and Tobias Nielsen-Ruse really pulled the team together, committed to some new core values, and have just done an extraordinary job with our strength coach, Justin Smith, in getting ready for the season. But we know it's going to be a grind every Friday, Saturday night against this league. I think, when you're the strongest conference in college hockey year in and year out, that what that means as a participant, you better be ready every time we lace them up and play in this league. So I'm really excited about all the talent we have in the league. I think obviously Boston College returning is the favorite in college hockey, but I think our conference top to bottom is going to be the best again this year.
Well, you talked a bit about the leaders. Talk about maybe another player or two who you mentioned how well the summer went. Guys you're expecting this year to make maybe that big step forward.
I'm just excited to have everybody back. We lost Connor Brickley, during the World Junior Championship. Chris McCarthy, he's probably the one guy that, I would circle on the list and say, hey, it's great to have him back, after getting knocked out, I think, in the second weekend of the season. He was a big part of our team, or was going to be a big part of our team last year. So to have not only his leadership, but also his ability back in the lineup is going to be huge for us. I think on the blue line, Nick Brunito, a young man who had tremendous first 2 years for us. We just saw so much growth. Now he's, physically that much more stronger as a junior. So I think back there he'll be a great leader for us.
And talk about the great support that your program gets up there in Burlington, Vermont at Gutterson Fieldhouse. A great crowd always on hand.
Well, we're spoiled. We really are. 23-year wait list for season tickets. A community that absolutely embraces us through good times and certainly through the tough times as well. We are very, very fortunate to have the loyal fans that we do have, and we're really looking forward to showing them a much better product this year.